Helene is on the move right now. There is a live look at Atlanta getting slammed this morning.
It is the strongest hurricane to make landfall in Florida's Big Bend region on record. It's brought massive amounts of rain, historic flooding. We have team coverage across the storm zone, starting with Ginger in Treasure Island, Florida. Good morning, Ginger.
George, this storm is remarkable for so many reasons. We had 5 to 7 feet of record storm surge. You see the piling of that pontoon. This boat here, they're in front of a house, as are dozens of others up and down the street. They were pushed by the actual ocean water with that record surge up and over 4 lanes of a causeway. This is just the beginning of the damage because obviously at best we were 110 miles per hour from the center of that storm, but it just plowed through Georgia. There's flash flood emergencies in Atlanta up through North Carolina right now.
Overnight, Hurricane Helene slamming into Florida's Big Bend, making landfall as a deadly Category 4 storm. Catastrophic sustained wind up to 140 miles per hour, the first ever Cat 4 on record for the Big Bend.
Oh, there goes.
The warnings of unsurvivable storm surge eerily playing out in Steinhatchee. Entire homes swept away.
Houses floating away.
Ripped off their foundation by Helene's surge. The porch on this home left behind. The scene illuminated by lightning. At least 5 people are dead across Florida, Georgia, and North Carolina. One of those deaths happened when this sign fell onto a car in Florida.
That just shows you that it's very dangerous conditions out there.
The storm's footprint, massive. You can see it from the satellite there in space. Tropical storm force winds extending up to 310 miles from the center.
We had a 76 mile per hour wind gust, and we are 150 miles away from the center of the storm. That's how far reaching this thing is.
Florida Highway Patrol shutting down major bridges across Tampa Bay. Record surge making it too dangerous to pass. Waves battering all lanes. Down in Fort Myers, rescuers fighting the wind, deploying boats in waist-high floodwater. In South Pasadena, first responders rushing to emergency calls of raging fires surrounded by storm surge. And in Clearwater, a man and his dog rescued after his 36-foot sailboat started taking on water. Officials in the Big Bend asking those who chose not to evacuate before the storm to write their name and birth date on their body with permanent marker, hoping that that could help with identification in case of the worst.
My goodness. I think my roof is coming apart. Yeah, this is the real deal.
Michael Bobbitt staying behind, rescuing his neighbors on Cedar Key.
Their house is going to be completely covered in water. They would have died in that house.
Our Whit Johnson reporting overnight from a flooded Tampa.
You can see we're actually elevated a little bit, but look at that water line down that step. You can see how deep it is.
More than 3 million customers without power, Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina so far. This AccuWeather storm chaser capturing transmission towers igniting. 911 overload. Cars abandoned on roads, water too high.
This storm is raging.
Waves crashing over walls, flooding homes.
I really couldn't even evacuate if I wanted to at this point.
Water flooding Matthew Heller's living room in Tampa, forcing him to break out his kayak to get around.
I've got probably 5 feet of water in my lower level right now. I was walking around and I got the cactus to the leg. So then I decided to jump in the boat to avoid all my plants that were floating around my lower level.
I can't emphasize enough that the flash flood emergency threat at this moment is the biggest life-threatening thing we have left with this storm. So just northeast of Atlanta even, Atlanta proper, but also Decatur, right up to parts of like Georgia and South Carolina, North Carolina, you do not want to get in the car and drive in the next couple of hours.